Hey friends! Today is January the 26th. I had to check my watch twice before I could confidently say that. I kind of have no idea what day it is. I've been on vacation from work for like 2 weeks. I was supposed to be in Florida visiting my in-laws because my husband and I turned 30 last week. As you can see, I am not one of those people who's too fazed by the number. I feel not too different from like any age that I ever. I just don't feel different, I guess, every year as things ages. I obviously change. I guess it just doesn't feel like I've never gotten hit with, like this age feels so much harder than whatever the year before was. So I wanted to live up my 30. Original plan had been Hawaii. My in-laws were going to come here. They were going to watch my daughter. And that was a plan that we made in January of 2020. And then we had changed the plan because my in-laws are a little older. And we thought, we'll fly to them. We'll fly to Florida. And it'll all be okay. Because this will be over by January of 2021. Didn't happen, did it? So we've been home. I've been off from work, so I'm enjoying that life. So I really don't know what day it is. But my name is Nick. This is my Flosstube. I want to tell you it's Flosstube number 11. Not very confident in that. But this is going to be another special Flosstube. This is going to be my 2021 list, which is off to an abysmal start because at the end of 2020, I injured my nerve in my hand, according to them, my ulnar nerve. Currently in week 7 of healing, I am starting to feel a little better. Things aren't hurting as often, as much, but my stitching is very limited, very slow, and I'm trying to really do my best to not push myself because I want to stitch again, and I want to stitch the way I used to. So I need to let myself heal first. So what I'm doing is I'm going to go through the list of things that I'd love to touch in 2021. As I was gathering all of this, I realized I was very over-ambitious this year in making that list, but that is okay because I know I will not finish everything on this list. It is not possible. It doesn't, I would have to stitch for a living and then get to keep the things if I thought I was going to actually do all these things. But we'll see. It's always fun to see what I will actually touch, what gets done, what I really enjoy, what gets left for next year, and I don't hold myself to this list. I don't give myself rules. The only rule I have is that I'm not allowed to add anything to my 2021 list once 2021 has started. So I do already have a 2022 list. I can do other things outside of my list because this is my list and my plans. And my main reason for the list to begin with is so that I do not forget any chart that I felt a strong attachment to but didn't have the moment to stitch it. So, without further ado, the 2021 list. Hey! I'm also a liar because the very first thing I'm going to show you is the only thing that's not on this list. And I'm only showing it to you because it's something I want to stitch this year. Not on the list because I just discovered it. It is the Pink Sparrow Sampler from With Thy Needle and Thread. When are we going to learn that this stuff has got to come out of the bags? Bear with my crinkling today, guys. The Pink Sparrow Sampler. This is a sampler that I really haven't seen too many people touch at all, and it is beautiful. The colors are just not something that I see in traditional reproductions or anything like that. I can't tell if it's going to show accurately, but there's a lot of pinks, there's a lot of pastels, there's blues, there's a really pretty purple up over here. So I really want to get to do this. I got so excited, I even kitted it up. The colors are even more beautiful in person. Let's see. They're mostly gentle arts, and I somehow managed to find them all. Don't know how I did that, but look at this. Let's see if I can get something white in the background. My first rodeo. Look at those colors. They are so pretty. I love them. And I think that's what makes me so excited to do this sampler. It's just different. And I enjoy different. So, not on the 2021 list, but it's gonna get touched. I'm gonna do it. If anybody wants to stitch this, if you haven't seen it, if you were like me and you've never seen it before, Kitten Stitcher has it on her site, and I just sometimes go on there to my own downfall and just start looking at random designers and fun gems that you don't see anywhere else. They're on her site. The only thing I'm thinking about, so I'm one of those people, someone's gonna yell at me, because reproductions, I know there's often this sentiment that they want them, people, stitchers, would like to stitch them exactly as they are charted, because they are reproductions. Like you are keeping true to the original person who stitched this sampler. I don't play that game. My big issue with most samplers are alphabets. I ain't about an alphabet. I know my ABCs. They're tedious. There's 26 letters. I don't want to stitch all those letters. Give me the good stuff. So when I see samplers with alphabets, I immediately am thinking, how am I going to get that alphabet out of there? How can I bring this down? Can I pull that over sooner? And I can with this. I'm very excited. I'm going to do that. People who don't believe I should do that, don't crucify me, please. But now we are on to the list. Okay, so starting the list. Sorry, brief interruption. I feel like I'm going to be really rambly today. I know some of you love that. I know some people live for that. I'm hoping that the people that live for that are my people. So get ready for some rambles, some stitching rambling. So the first chart today is Swan Tree by Hello from Liz Matthews. It is something that the pattern allows you to either stitch that triangular tree or a full rectangle. I'm probably going to stitch the triangle. No idea how I'm going to finish it. Probably going to send it off to somebody because I am not confident in my abilities as a finisher, and I work too hard on my stitching to screw it up. I have it mostly kitted. I do have a piece of linen that I want to use. My preference for linen is 36 count. And I saw this linen. It is called Sanguine. It is a beautiful piece of linen, but is obviously not what the bird is charted on. And I did not realize that there is actually the color Floss Sanguine in the pattern. But I've looked at the picture and it's small. It looks like there's some flowers or something in there. I can change that out easily. I can even make them white. We're gonna see. But I really like the idea of this tree on that color. And so we're going to see. We're going to see if I can make it work. I think it can. The only thing that's going to kill me slowly is stitching those fish in that river at the bottom. Ooh, that is dense stitching. I know some people live for the dense stitching. Not me. I understand why you do it. It looks great. Like, have you seen people's hades? You know who will never stitch a hade? I don't have it in me. I think I live for a finish. You know, like when people ask you, what do you really enjoy? What's your favorite part of the stitching process? I enjoy stepping back at the end of my stitching session and really admiring the progress that I've made in that session. And then when I get to the end, it's very gratifying. Look, I did this, I finished this, and oh my goodness, Hades, you can have Hades for years and years and years, and not my cup of tea. So that will kill me slowly. But moving on, number 2 on my list, and this is the reason why you will understand why I said it is not possible for me to finish everything on this list this year, because I just went for all of the BAPs. All of them. BAP stands for big ass project, at least in my world. This is a 200 by 200 piece. That's just nothing to sneer at. I would like to, so when this is done, this is from Heartstring Samplery and the Scarlet House. They each designed 1/2 on 2 different pieces of fabric, stitched them together, and had that. I know a lot of people were stitching the whole thing, cutting them apart, and then sending it to a friend, half of it to a friend, and the friend would send that same half back so they could each have a part that they both stitched but have one piece and then stitched together. I don't think that's going to be something I want to do because I will feel a lot of pressure to finish the piece, send it off, and I think for just who I am as a stitcher, I'm better off doing it all at once on my own. I would like to stitch it on 2 separate pieces of linen because I've never done that. And I know that there are some great tutorials out there now on how to get them together. So I'm going to look into that. I'm going to be terrified. I might stitch them together first and then do the stitching. I feel like I'll feel a lot safer that way. A lot less frustration. But this is called the Berry Bowl Sampler. And yeah, it's a big one. I only have 2 of the flosses, but I looked at the back and a lot of the flosses that are in here that are called for, I know I have in other projects, so I'm hoping that I will get other things done before I want to get into this. Next one on my list, so I have a couple of PDFs that are on this list. I've printed them out like the cover sheet. My printer is only black and white, so I'm going to attempt to throw an image there, right there, to show you what the pattern looks like so that you're not staring at a black and white image, because that's not fun. But this one has been a pattern I have been super excited about. This print is going to do no justice. It is the Snow White Sampler by Willow Hill Samplings. It is beautiful. Again, what I'm going to show you first is the black and white. Expect a picture there in color. It is an absolutely stunning sampler. Snow White is in there. There's some animals on the side. The colors are to die for. And the thing on the top says, within a forest dark and deep, love lies waiting fast asleep. The cursed fruit her breath did take, with true love kiss she shall awake. I love Disney. I love anything that's been Disney. So this sampler is right up my alley. And I don't intend on cutting any of it out because, like I said, not an alphabet. But this is high. Like, I've been wanting to do this for ages, and I just haven't. Don't know why. And this one, the stitch count is 259 by 259. But it's I don't believe it's going to be that bad because there's a lot of open space, a lot, for all of those motifs. And then this big chunk is just letters, you know, and unless you're doing 1/1 letters normally don't take me a long time. So it shouldn't be terrible. The border I might curse at, but the border is beautiful. So it's getting done. The Snow White sampler, Willow Hill Samplings. It's currently living in my Nikki's Notables Halloween bag. I have this thing. You ever like find a designer who's stitching, you really love their designs, love them, you go ham, buy all their patterns, and something happens and you end up just not stitching any of them? Me. Stone Street Stitchworks is that designer. I keep buying her patterns. I love every single one. Beautiful, stunning, this, that. I never get to them. Why? Why, Nicole? Why do you do this? Putting a stop to it. 3 patterns are on my list. The first one is Librarian's House. Color there. It is 149 by 203. Also isn't terrible because there is no dent stitching really in this anywhere. It's just the flowers and the birds. It is a very pretty red. I'm a sucker for the blackbirds that are in there. And I just like these motifs as well. Adorable little heart border. And I would live in this house. I would. So this one is 100% on my list. It's so cute. Then she did another one called Book House, sensing a theme. I lived in books more than I lived anywhere else. Ooh, this one speaks to my soul. When I was younger, around 12, there was a lot of trauma that my family and I underwent. And to survive, I threw myself headfirst into the world of Harry Potter. And I really will still to this day, probably for the rest of my life, say that it saved me. It pulled me out of a very, very dark time in my life, that it wasn't something that was like, it wasn't a bad day. It was a long, bad time. And so when I read this, I related so hard to it because I really did live in those books. When I look back on those years, probably like 12 to 15, I don't have a lot of concrete memories. And I wish I did, because I did end up losing people in that time. And I wish I could remember those times that I spent with them. But I don't know that I was necessarily present during them either, because I was living in books and I was living in Harry Potter. So I would like this in my house because I've known very few statements to be as true to my life as this. This is a smaller one, 93 by 81. I could bang this out. Easy. Done. And again, look at those words. Like, that's a good chunk of height. So I think this should be relatively quick. The next one is her MLK sampler. It is 93 by 131. It's not just a cover page. There wasn't a cover page, but what is on here is nothing. There's no pattern on here, so I'm going to show it to you. It says, "The time is always right to do what is right," which is an MLK quote. I had wanted to start it in January. My wrist said no. But again, it is another small, I just love all of the motifs that she does. She's got a really nice way with flowers and birds, and I love the quote also. I like to have inspirational things around the house, things for my little to see. So I like the idea of that, being up in the house. Those are my Stone Street Stitchwork patterns on my list. The next is Widow's Walk by Carriage House Sampling. This is another one that I don't see done too often, and I don't know why, because it is stunning. It is this beautiful home by the sea, the pelican, and this beautiful sky, and the widow's walk up there with someone. And the little bird on top is so cute. I am doing this in all the colorful colors. I have a red. I randomly noticed that 123 Stitch got some Aztec red back in stock from Wheats Dye Works in 36 count. So I ran on that because I knew I wanted to do this pattern. So I have everything kitted. It is 89 by 92. Not bad at all. Just some denseness in the grass, but it shouldn't be terrible. It's almost all DMC. There's 1 weeks in there. So it really should fly. I feel like I stitch faster when it's DMC because I'm not worried about that variegation. So this is one of my smaller ones. Yay! Yay for the small pieces I picked. I tried to give myself some small things. I want some finishes. Like I said, live for a finish. The next is another PDF. It is Teacups by Pedal Pusher. Terrible picture. I'm really sorry. I'm gonna try to have the color one up there. This is one I have had sitting in my Dropbox for years. And I mean, I feel like overall my style has changed. Very into samplers right now. But I still love this piece, and I do love Disney. And those cups, they're just so cute, those teacups. I love that ride, and I think this will look really cute in the kids' like room. I have a little wall over there with some Disney-ish fantasy, what do they call it? Fairy tales, the fairy tales thing. So I want to put that in here. And it's very cute, and hopefully you're seeing the color image. So you can see that it's all pastels, super cute things like that. This one is 140 by 70. This one's got some more done stitching in it because of the cups, but that'll be okay. Okay, for this bag, which is a Christina Quilting with Nico bag. Nako. I messed it up last time. I do not want to mess it up. Quilting with Nako. I have my Sisters by Blackbird Designs book in there, and there are 2 in here that I want to do. I'm going to do at First Socks Grow. I have the floss in here. I had hoped to start it last October. There was a sale going on. And then Stephanie Webb, Miss Lindy Stitches, had to come out with that adorable Dracula pattern, and I just got so sucked right into it that I just didn't have time. I focused on that. I finished that and didn't start this. So here it is on the list. It is beautiful. And it's another sampler with sayings. I love sampler with sayings. Get rid of those alphabets. It says at First Cock Crow, the ghosts must go back to their quiet graves below. Yes. Yes, please. Can I keep it out year round? Somebody tell me. I can, right? I'm building I don't know if it's a spook wall, a macabre wall, a little area that'll have like witches and tombstones, and this, I like a spook wall. Yeah? Spook wall? Spoopy wall? Halloween wall? It's not just Halloween though. You guys get it. You guys get what I'm going for, right? Something that'll have a lot of tombstones and witches. That kind of wall. So that's on my list. It is 133 by 155. And the other thing I have in this book that I would like to do is Witch No More. It's really not, it doesn't scream spooky. And I think it screams fall more than anything. And it's cute. I like the colors. I did not kit this one up, but I'll worry about that after I finish at First Cock's Crow, because I really want to do that. This one is 173 by 94. You seeing my problem? You seeing why I'm going to be lucky with it? And I've been out this entire month with the hand. The next one is another Blackbird's design book. It's The Sweet Land of Liberty. There's only 5 patterns in here, and I think there's only one that I didn't like. So I'm hoping that between this year and next year, I will bang out the 4 that I do enjoy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. In Full Glory is one that I plan on doing this year. It's a smaller one, 65 by 81. Yes, thank goodness. I'm not into patriotic stitching, truly. But this one was just so cute. And I noticed, so I have a cabinet right next to me. And there are 4 drawers. And there's a spring, a summer, a fall, and a winter drawer. And my summer drawer, it like doesn't exist. There is like this tiny little bit of charts. I don't know why. I think if I were to guess, it's because a lot of summer stitching ends up being patriotic stitching because of all those holidays in there. And I'm just not a big fan. But I do want stuff to put out in the summer. And I just like this. I think this is so cute. Look at that legal. Cute. Nice colors. And then this one fueled my sampler love. And it's Salute to Abigail. It is just another beautiful sampler. Different, good for the holidays. It has an alphabet coming right off. I was checking that out yesterday when I was pulling this out, and I can very easily just cut that whole chunk right out. I will leave the name and the year, I'm thinking. Not 100% certain. We'll see. We'll see what I decide. Definitely more patriotic than anything I've ever stitched. But I really like the colors in the sampler. As of yesterday, I was looking at it and I said, oh, I had meant to buy some silks for this. It is charted in silks. And wouldn't you know, Abby, Top Knot Stitcher, posted that she has dinky dyes. And I went on, bought some dinky dyes that I think will look nice, and they should be coming, knowing Abby, by next week. But no rush, Abby. None. 0. I can't stitch, so this is not, it won't be happening just yet. Yeah. Those are the only 2 in here. So the other 2 are on my list for 2022. This one goes against everything I have just been consistently saying because it's got an alphabet that I might stitch. This is Halloween Eden. This was a hard one to find. It is a much older Plum Street. I'm trying to get that glare without having to take it out of this bag. It is a spooky Adam and Eve. And the only reason I want to stitch the alphabet, the one and only reason, I love how that snake is hanging off the letter. And I don't know how to make him work without stitching the entire alphabet. If anybody has ideas, please let me know, because I do not want to stitch this alphabet. But I will, if that means, because I am keeping that snake. He's cute. I just don't know how to get him in there, hanging in that position, if not on a letter. But this would seriously cut down some like stitching time on this if I chopped that whole alphabet. It also has 2 versions. In one of the versions, these little orbs, leaves, I'm not sure what these are, but they're pumpkins in the second version that is included in this pattern. So I'll be doing that. I do have a picture of this plus fabric in here to use. I like it. It's called Pickled. The only thing is it's 32 count. Means I'm going to have to use 2 threads or have a very light coverage with the threads. I haven't decided yet what I want to do. This is something that I would like to stitch sooner rather than later. So we'll see. I'm not sure how big it is. Right? 100 by 99. Yeah, come on, guys. Somebody tell me how I can cut that alphabet out. Please. The next one is, funnily enough, another Adam and Eve, which I have never stitched anything Adam and Eve, but this is definitely another. This is that tree. spooky again. That's what it is. It's a Barbara Ann Designs. It's called the Rampant Cats Sampler. They're in no means the traditional version of Adam and Eve that you see. I saw this on the wall of either Emily from Eclectic Possessions' home or her job. I can't remember which. But she had it up there. And I was like, but what is that pattern? Am I ashamed to say this? I don't know. I went back in her Instagram like a crazy person, scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, because I had never seen this pattern until I found her posts. And she had stitched this a while ago. This was not a recent stitch, so I was deep, like in that point where you're like, you better not like a photo because somebody's going to know that you are like stalking right now. It would have been easier if I just messaged her, but I didn't have a clear enough view of the picture to be like, so that pattern that was in your video or your picture that kind of looked like two people. Like, I just didn't have a way to describe it enough that I felt confident in messaging her. But I found it. My stocking-proved fruit bowl. And I think I found it on 123 Stitch. I can no longer remember. But it'll look good on my spook wall. And there's no alphabet. So, the Rampant Cat Sampler by Barbara Ann Designs. This one is 157 by 184. I don't have a lot of the threads, but this is all charted in DMC, so I'm not too worried. I have got like a box of DMC somewhere. This next one I love. I am really sorry for this picture. I couldn't get it to print right. I don't know what happened. It was in my Dropbox. I just didn't want to print. This is a Wild Violet cross stitch piece. It is called Unicorn in Captivity. So, I love this because in the Harry Potter films, there's a tapestry of the unicorn in captivity. It is enormously more elaborate than this, and to stitch the entire replica of that pattern, it would not be fun. But this is enough for me. I really like this. I have another 32 count fabric that I'm thinking of putting it on, but I bought some silks for the unicorn, at least, so that I can get some nice coverage with him because he's just white. I believe it's all charted in DMC. Everything else was small enough that I'm like, I'll look to see if I have some silk around when I'm actually getting to this that might match some of the colors. And if not, I'll just bite the bullet and use my 2 strands of DMC in other places. Yeah, isn't he cute? Oh, love him. I also haven't seen a lot of people stitch this. I think it's another older design. I can't even tell you because this was so strangely, like my computer didn't want me to print it. It kept saying, oops, you don't belong here. What do you mean? This is my Dropbox. My goodness. This is 96 by 129. Next, I have Summer in Nantucket. It is adorable. It's a Plum Street Samplers pattern. A lighthouse, a little mermaid with her fish. She's riding on a whale. There's some whale buildings. I have a beachy themed bedroom. So I want this for my bedroom. I actually think I found a really nice tray that I'm going to eventually stitch and send this out to Alyssa at Starry Night Studios so she can put it on the tray for me and I can have it up in my room. This one's a small one. Okay. I'm trying to not open the bag. It is 92 by 78. I have some thread in there, some fabric. That's just cute. I love a good Plum Street. There's very little that she does that I don't love. Probably her patriotic stuff is the things I shy away from. And then ironically enough, right back into more patriotism. Land That I Love sampler by Teresa Kogut. Teresa Kogut is not a cross-stitcher. She's a cross-stitch designer, but not a cross-stitcher. And somehow has this amazing ability to design the most stunning samplers. Every time she designs a sampler, I'm like, oh, there it goes. I need that one too. Please stop, Teresa. And I'm a patron of Teresa on Patreon. It's not helpful. I'm building my stash because she, depending on what tier you have, you get some free gift charts every month. And they're just as beautiful. It's not like she doesn't like just give you like a small little thing you can bang out one day. No, these are big and they're beautiful. If you like Teresa Kogut, I recommend being a patron of hers on Patreon. But she did this Land That I Love sampler. I love the colors. I love this little basket. I love the bird. Shopping that alphabet. The only thing about this is I don't necessarily think chopping the alphabet is going to help me too much in gaining space. What I might end up doing is chopping the alphabet. I normally am a center starter. I probably can still start in the center. What I'm thinking is probably stitching the entire inside. I hate doing that. Maybe starting the border and starting the border flush to what I end up stitching on the top, and then working my way down and trying to figure out where it would leave me here. I mean, I might end up in the exact same position. The problem is that this line of alphabet and numbers matches up with that flag. I could take the flag out, but even that, there's a flower there too. We're gonna see. I'm not stitching that alphabet, so we will see what I end up doing. This one's living in a Halloween bag. I know, but it's okay. It doesn't know. Only I know. Well, that's not true. Now, well, you guys know too. It's okay, right? Totally fine. I have another Teresa Kogut sampler here. This one, I had this. This is another Quilting with Nico bag. She made me this bag special, custom. She does those if you like them. Look how beautiful this is. Beautiful. I love this. I love the flowers and the little birds. And if you flip it over, it is home of my Newcastle bouquet sampler. It's a big sampler, y'all. It is so big. It is 353 by 217. What was I thinking when I made this list? I was thinking this is a beautiful sampler and I want to stitch it. That's what I was thinking. And I'm still not wrong. It is a beautiful sampler and it is worth stitching. I'm hang at the size. The size. I don't think oh yes I did. I bought a fabric in here. I went for a different color fabric than what is recommended because I didn't love how the flowers blended in so well. I obviously didn't get to see the model, so I don't know if that's just the picture. But as you can see, it also has an alphabet. Not happening. But everything else, well, unfortunately, the alphabet is going to have no impact on anything other than just the alphabet. So I'm not actually going to gain any less stitching other than that small amount of stitches that are in the alphabet. That's normally what, aside from I don't want to stitch the alphabet, I normally get like a decent chunk of space less of stitching. Not here. Not here. But I think it'll look a little less busy and I'm going to like that. It'll put the focus more on that beautiful bouquet and those birds. And I'm going to like that space that's everywhere. So that's my plan for this. We'll see when I start this. That border. Ooh, that border looks like it's going to be a doozy. I'm not somebody who stitches a whole border first. I see a lot of people who are able to like stitch a border out and then fill in. I'm somebody who I will stitch a little bit of the border as I get. So like if I was doing this flower, I'd start stitching this part of the border. And I start to try to make sure that they're matching up there. So by the time I get to this leaf, I make sure that I'm at that right place with this border. And that's how I tend to catch mistakes before it's an entire piece. And I need to scrub it, start over, cut things out. That works for me. I know some people doing the whole border works. I also feel like I would get a little burnt out doing borders because borders tend to be more tedious, very repetitive, and some people really enjoy that stitching. I don't think I dislike the repetitiveness. I just, some point you get bored or you get too comfortable. And then you stop counting. You're like, I've done this 5 times. I know what I'm doing. I don't need to look at the pattern. Girl, yes, you did. And you messed it up. So I like to just do little chunks. It doesn't feel like, I know some people say that the borders will really like that tired me out. It made me want to put down the piece. I never really experienced that because of the way I have worked at my stitching. All right. I'm going a lot faster than I thought. I think I talk fast. Or I'm not used to filling like blank spaces with anecdotes. If I was with you, I would have all of the anecdotes in the world, like bounce off of what you guys are saying back to me. Instead, you guys are yelling at me through the screen and I don't really know. Maybe none of you are yelling at me. Maybe you guys are just laughing at me. I would laugh at me. My next is Shelter from the Storm by Scattered Seed Samplers. My daughter's bedroom has bunnies everywhere, even her crib. Her crib was, I have never seen a crib like it. It was an Ellen DeGeneres crib. Or she designed it, I don't know, but it was in Bye Bye Baby when I was looking for my crib. And on the front portion of the crib, it's in the wood, it says love. And on the back board, it has some bunny scenery. And then you have like 2 poles coming out of the headboard up top, right? And on the very top of this one, there is a dancing bunny. And she loves that bunny. She calls him Bun Bun. She likes for me to take him down and pet him and put him back. I'm always very like, don't break Bun Bun. He feels hardy, but you know, she's 2 and likes to throw things. I'm always like, no, give me back Bun Bun. You saw him for 5 seconds. He's good. And I saw this and I really thought it was adorable. And I liked that there were 3 bunnies because we're a 3 bunny household. Bunnies being me, my husband, and her. And I thought it would look cute in her room. I don't know what happened, why I didn't start this immediately. So the age-old questions, right? Why didn't I start this? I don't know, but I have all the threads in here. I probably won't write the word Shelter from the Storm because I don't feel like it really does anything. I think it's just so small. It just doesn't need to be there. I don't need it there is the real, obviously it needs to be there because the designer put it there. I don't need it there. So just going to focus on the little bunnies, mushrooms, everything else except the words. And this one is 79 by 87. This one was one of the very last things to make it onto my list. Tilly's House from Teresa Kogut. She, I believe, had a punch needle goat named Tilly, or the goat. She might actually have another cross stitch piece with this little goat. It's a repeat character of hers. And I saw this and it was just so cute. I mean, look at the little goat. Look at the little house. The border is adorable. Also, it's got a little Christmassy feel to it. Just a little. And I thought it was just so cute. And when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, I love this so much. But I was right in the middle of Christmas stitching and I cannot stop my Christmas stitching at Christmas time. So it went right on my list. It is 123 by 73. Border looks like it's going to be fun. But other than that, my lighting is going away. But that's okay because I'm almost done. Almost done. Look at the little goat. It's so cute. One of my best friends is a big goat lover. She went and did goat yoga. She used to follow this goat farm. She probably still follows the goat farm. And used to tell us she was going to come home with a baby goat. She hasn't, but the dream is there. Then I have these 4 smalls. They are the Prairie Fairy collection from the Prairie Schooler. I was able to like piecemeal these together because I guess they were never reproduced like with the rest of the patterns. So these are all the originals. You can tell they are old looking. They are brown on the back. I can't show you the back because that's where the pattern is. But there are 4 fairies. There are little blurbs about each fairy. Like this one is, I guess this must be the original Prairie Fairy, right? This one says, as legend has it, the Prairie Fairy rides on the wings of a blackbird and scatters sunflower seeds over open fields the night of the first full moon of summer. Here she is, doing her thing. Ooh, okay, riding her birdie, sprinkling her sunflowers. The spring cleaning fairy arrives on her dust bunny, ready to tackle the usual household chores with a mop, thimbleful of soapy water, and a brush made of thistle. I mean, come on, how cute is this? Just the story alone makes you love it. He's a dust bunny! The garden fairy appears on her snail at the first sign of daybreak, leaving behind the morning dew with her watering can and mischievously planting dandelions on her way. If you got dandelions in your yard, this your girl. That's who you're blaming. On her snail. And the last one is, in her patchwork dress and pincushion hat, the stitching fairy rides on the wings of her sewing bird, completing all those unfinished projects with the needle and thread she always carries with her. I need this fairy in my life. She has not come to visit me, not once, in all my years of stitching. Please come visit me. But I love this. I love the little stories. I wish I could find a way to incorporate them into the pattern. Like a big part of me wants to be like, snip, 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 puts in frame. But I don't. These are original Prairie Schoolers. You don't snip them. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Maybe I can write it on a card and put that in with the frame. That would be a better idea, Nicole. But they're so cute. I love them all. So they're on my list. They're all very small. They are like around 47 by 67. So it seems like a much larger feat when I say 4. But they are not a lot of stitching. And I can spread them out. I'm trying to get, ooh. Screen grab. So I will do these throughout the year, hopefully, and then end up with 4 and then figure out exactly how I'd like to display them, because they're so cute. I love them. And the very last thing, this is another thing that I found on Kitten Stitcher's site that I just didn't see anywhere else, is the Scarlet House, Rachel Howell's 1856. It is a beautiful pattern, and I actually found it because of Brenda and the Serial Starters Flosstube. Brenda showed this as her most favorite sampler, or her most favorite stitched piece, and you can see why. It is beautiful. It is very different, and it doesn't seem to be sold anywhere else except Kitten Stitcher, so if you'd like to get your hands on it, Kitten Stitcher. And with this piece, I am doing something for me that is a little scary, definitely something new. I have recently discovered the joys of silk and have discovered a silk dyer in Spain who goes by the name of Mrs. Sedas. The word Sedas means silks in Spanish, so Mrs. Silks, if you were to translate, and she has beautiful silks. They do come from Spain, so they do take a long time, but they're worth it. I have created my own Mrs. Seda's conversion for this. It's all there. I don't want to give it to you yet. If somebody would like it at some point, I will be happy to share the conversion, but I'm afraid to do it because I haven't stitched it yet. So we don't actually know what it's going to look like. I did try to stay as close to the pattern as I could. Her silk selection, the range is not equivalent to what DMC has. It's hard, right? Because DMC has so many colors. And she's one person hand dyeing silks. So she's got a lot of colors, but doesn't have like a 1-for-1. This is what I would recommend if you are using this DMC. It doesn't exist, at least not right now. So I had to do my best. There was a lot of going back and forth, looking at what the DMC was. It was a task to try and do it. You can even see, like, I crossed some things out, made different decisions, but I am excited to see how it comes out. It's another big one, guys. It's 319 by 280. The silks haven't arrived yet. I think what I'm going to do is when they do come, I'm going to show you this pattern in that Flosstube again, so I can really show you the silks that I picked. And maybe if you want to, I can give whoever wants the conversion, they can decide once I see what's in front of me, and I could say, this wasn't a good idea. This one's not going to work. I'm going to have to find a different silk somewhere else. But yeah, so if you're looking for new silks to try, I definitely recommend her. She has an Etsy shop, and she's very responsive. If you have questions or anything like that, it's great. Love it, love it, love it. I also follow her on Instagram. You probably have seen her if you've seen Sarcy Girl's pandemic freebie that she released at the end of last year, because Mrs. Sedas did a conversion with her silks, and then she was selling the silk pack with the conversion in it if you wanted to get that. So even if you're doing that, or you were thinking about doing that, that's a good reason to check her out as well. So how many patterns do you think I'm going to finish in 2021? I feel like I would have a little more faith if my hand was working like it normally does. I tend to get like a pain here and a sensation going down this arm. I feel something now, and I think it's because I've been holding up everything for so long. Gonna taking a leave or something to help it calm down a little bit, but that's what I'm going up against. I'm going with my OT, I'm doing the stretches, and I really have seen a difference, because when it first happened, I wouldn't have been able to pick this up. Like it was really bad. Like I must have not listened to my body when it told me to stop, and I don't recommend doing that. But I'm getting better. I'm listening. I am trying to stitch minimally, because not stitching at all is hard. My OT said that I could stitch, but I have to listen to my body. If I felt tingles, if I felt pain, I had to stop. And I've been doing that. So I'm hopeful that if not February, March, because my OT goes, and right now it's scheduled to go till the end of February, that I will be up and stitching. Maybe I can tell myself, you didn't know you were going to be injured. That's why you put all these big old BAPs on your list. I don't think that's it. I think I didn't look at the stitch count. But if you're still with me at this point, thank you for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed my list. My next Flosstube is going to be really haul, because I don't have too much stitching to show you. And it will also be some FFOs, because I know that I have some framed piece from Total Framing on the way. It's coming back to me. It's my first time having anything professionally framed. Working with them was extremely fun. It was great. I mean, I am nowhere near them either, so they made everything work. And when they come, I'm going very excited to share the pieces with you all. So I'll have that, right? So it will be maybe a quicker video, but continuing these videos while I'm injured makes me still feel like I'm in the stitching community, like doing something. So thank you for sticking around. I hope everybody's having a good January. I hope everybody's staying safe. Waiting on my vaccine. I put in my papers to verify that I'm eligible because I'm in the dental field. So hopefully that will come back soon. And I just hoping for a better year, a better 2021 than 2020 was. And I hope that y'all are having a better 2021. That's all I got for today. See you next time. Bye.